One Traders prep video here. We've had a very fast week. We're now up into the level that I've been talking about pretty much all week, this 2860 level. It's time to see if 60 or 65 is going to hold and give us a pushback and reversal. If we don't do that, we've got much higher levels that I go over. But if you appreciate the analysis, please subscribe to the channel, and let's take a look at the rest of the charts. Let's do it. Good morning. It's the pre-market prep for the S&P 500 futures 6/7/2019, 4:13 in the morning. And looking at the weekly chart, we are obviously up big this week. This just proves once again, big bar down, big bar up. Sign of weakness, just basically took off this week. We're up into the biggest node that we have up here, so this could be a little bit of a stall and a little bit of a pullback. So just to keep that in mind, this is also the level where you had the one up bar. So you're kind of all into a place that had some action before. So I'm kind of thinking that there might be something here. Let's look at the daily. Not a whole lot on the weekly there. So we've been talking about this 60 level, and we're like 7 points from it right at this point. We've come up across the top of that bar already into this little gap and doing a little pull off, and then we're going to basically come up and hit into this 60 area. After that, you've got 65 right here. It's probably like 64.75. It's the bottom of that node. They get up above that. The top of it is 67. But after they get above that, I think it's 78, which is kind of in line, 78, 79 right there, in line with this gap right here. And then after that, you've got 82, and the range extreme for the day, ATR is growing a little bit, 37.69. So the high of the range 28.90, and the low of the range is 28.15. And that's a pretty good move through this particular volume node. But once you get over this, the volume does tend to get a little bit thinner, and if we take away some of the other volume that's behind it, you can definitely see here that 65, here's 60, 65, 75, it's probably like right 60. I want to go across to the top of this candle right there. So 64.75, 65, and then your next you got a little shelf of volume here at 72, then 78, 80, 78 to 80 right in there. But you can see it's it was able to chop this up pretty good right here, and this is even probably a little bit less. You got big bars in here, so I think you could have a pretty fast run up here to the tops too, and then ultimately you're going to be up here at like 29.08 and 29.17 if I 29.20 right here. Probably like 17's like right in the top of that node right there. So I mean, I see all-time highs probably, if they don't get this pullback right here, there's not a whole lot of, there's like two levels, two actual rejection levels right here, and then basically right where we're at. And if they don't hold them here, I could see this thing run into all-time highs. That's on the downside here, you don't have a whole lot in this node. I mean, you do have this 44 level right here. I mean, there's a pretty good shelf right at 45, 28.45, and you're going to get into this 37 area, but it looks better on the 60 minute. Let's take a look over at the 240. So up into this node right here, getting the first pull off, where we fall back to. First shelf of volume is 49, and the second shelf is 47 on the 240. 45, 47, and pretty much 50, 49, 50 right there. On the 60 minute, you can see it pretty good. So what we're looking at is at the 47 level, you've got this tip right here, and we got this tip, this opposing tip right here, and this tip right here, and it lines up perfectly with this volume right here, so 47.75. And after that, you know, you got a little shelf at 46. You got this opposing little pivot right here. It's not a great one, 41. And then you get into here where you've got two opposers right here at 37. I like this area, and it could go a little bit farther down into the 36.65, because here's the pivot right here. This is really kind of an unopposed pivot right at that point. And then if we push through, we're on this node right here, we push through, we get a pullback off of 57-ish. There's a shelf at 58. You got 60 right here. There's a shelf right here, and pushing through, you've got two little spots, a 62 and kind of a 64-ish. And I'm trying to look to see. I'm going to say 62 is the better place because it's got the symmetry to it. It's the bottoms and tops of all these candles right there. So intraday, you can see on my scalp lines that I've drawn, you know, I'm right up against this shelf. I'm against this shelf right here. I'm against this shelf right here for the scalp line. I'm right here against this shelf of volume right here. There's a little shelf of volume right here. A little shelf of volume right here. Better trades are against the bigger shelves, right? More people involved. So downside, here's that 48 level that we kind of talked about. 44, we said 45, I think, on the other chart. This is what you can see right here. 45 is that big old volume node. And we talked about, I think we talked 37, which is right into this gap right here in this shelf. So that's how I get those lines right there. And you can see that if I'm just looking at the profile when I put these lines, and then you go back and you look and you see, you know, how price traded on both sides of those lines. So what you're expecting is it to come back and bounce and give you a point off of there. People are gonna buy around the lines, and hopefully you get your scalp out of it. Looking at this here, you know, again, It's pretty much the same. It's that 60 level up here that's just got all the volume in it. And then 64, 65, the 65 level. So after this, see how thin this is getting right up in here. You can get a fast move once you get up over these tops right here. Let's take a look a little bit more. You can get a fast move all the way up into the 77 area where it'll run into some resistance. I think this is just more of the same right here. And symmetry wise, I took this bottom swing to the top up here, the halfway mark lined up with the range right there, so you got a perfect 100% range extension up to here. Doubled that, there's 100% range extension right there. Double that, you get this 100% range extension. So we're sitting on this one, and that's where we're going at the next point. So that's 60, right? 59, and there's 63. Let's go back and look at 63 real quick. So 63 is right here at this tip. And it's right here. There's a little spike of a volume node right there at 63. So let's see if the symmetry plays out, and 63 was the better level. Then I've got 65 up here. So okay, guys, I wish you luck today. If you like the analysis and find the scalping lines useful for you in your trading, please subscribe to the channel. Please leave some comments, some questions. Do whatever you can to help the channel grow. And I will see you at the end of the day for the chart review. Take care.